The Bible's jam-packed full of teaching on food and farming, right from Genesis, where Adam's placed in the Garden of Eden to care for it, through the Levitical laws, Proverbs, the prophets, right through to Jesus's parables, which so often talk about food issues, farming. He's often talking about planting seeds or uprooting weeds. There's just so much good stuff in there.
How does God see food? Well, I think as part of creation, God cares for it, delights in it, cherishes it. For God, matter matters, and food is part of the material creation.
Food is one of these things that I would see as a total gift from God. It's not just about sustaining life, it's actually something that's really pleasurable and something that I always look forward to. It's something that just gets me up in the morning thinking, wow, I can't wait to see what I'm going to be eating today. So it's not just about sustaining life, it's about a gift, it's about a pleasurable experience.
Lord, thank you for this food that you and others have prepared for us, and I pray that you'll be with us in our conversations. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
Every meal is a celebration of God's goodness. And I think it's hugely important to us that we begin every meal with grace, and that we consciously give thanks to God for this precious gift which we are about to receive. It seems unthinkable that we could start a meal without offering thanks in that way. At Cana in Galilee, the first miracle that Jesus performs in John's Gospel, this wonderful transformation of water into wine, and it's a story about transformation, the abundance of transformation in and through Jesus Christ. But it's the material stuff, isn't it? It's water into good wine.
I think one of God's greatest ideas was food. If you think about the original creation and God trying to figure out how he was going to sustain these humans that he's just created, he could have come up with a way that was bland and boring, something that just kept us alive. But the variety of food across the world, the variety of food that we enjoy is just amazing. The fact that it is tasty and that it sustains us but also gives us so much pleasure.
None of us are sufficient in food. We rely upon other people. We rely upon the gift of the soil, the fertility of the soil. We rely upon the whole fruitful purpose of creation, the fruitful process of creation to survive. And recognizing that dependence, relying upon each other, relying upon the goodness of God in creation, seems to me to be important in our relationship with food.
I think to have an understanding of the stories that Jesus told, you really need to have a connection with the land. This was brought home to me when a teacher at the local primary school invited me to go into the class and tell the story of the parable of the sower and explain it. And it seemed to me that whilst it was a great opportunity to go in the class, it was crazy to actually do the lesson in a classroom when we needed to actually be on some land and planting seeds to demonstrate the story. So we got the class down, we planted seeds, we scattered it on the path, on the soil. We had examples of where the weeds had choked some of my own vegetables, and it really brought the story to life. So I think as you look at the different stories of Jesus, you can really see his own connection with the land and appreciate the stories better.
Food has this ability to bring people together in a way that nothing else does. It connects people who would otherwise never engage. Like if you think about even Christmas dinners and the way that we all sit together with our families in a way that we wouldn't do normally over hours, and we have beautiful food, or at weddings. I can remember being at a wedding this year where I actually was sharing food on the person's plate right next to me towards the end of the meal, talking in a way that we would never have done in any other circumstance. Or in other places where I've eaten food with vulnerable people, people who have struggled with addictions, and both of us sitting at a table and enjoying some lentil soup together, just breaking down those barriers in a place where otherwise we would just never actually meet and talk and engage together. But it was food that brought us together. It was that common sustaining of life.